Hello, welcome. In this video I'm going to be sharing my character design process. This does not include the line art, and if you have seen the finished piece you will notice that some things are different. These were some minor changes that were done later on, and this is just pretty much just sharing the character design process itself. I had a lot of references to work with. This is Moxie Sis, for those who don't know. He is a Vtuber partner, and in the design he basically was asking me for something a little bit more modest, but I wanted to kind of have fun with the silhouette. I knew that he said that he wanted a big jacket. I was not very sure how to do the inner patterns yet. You can see me in the screen experimenting a little bit with it. I wasn't sure in terms of values what I wanted to do yet. I knew that I wanted a good balance of darker colors as the main, followed by lighter colors like the white of the jacket. And then we have a lot of very strong accents here and there with the yellow, since that is most of his color scheme. Here you see me using references like Hannah and Kuro because I wanted to give him a very strong silhouette from the start. I thought that would be something that could strengthen the character design a lot more. That's why you see me starting with shapes and then breaking into line art, but mostly focusing on just how those shapes interact with each other. With the hair, he told me that he didn't mind if it didn't change, but I did wanted to give it a little bit of a more new spice. It was since we already are going through the trouble of making an entire new outfit, I thought that we needed something, some hairstyle that could fit with it. I fought with the shape for a little bit. I could not figure out how the fuck I wanted the back to look, but ended up finding something that I was kind of satisfied with, a mix of the new and the old. With the back of the jacket, I ended up not adding that gradient in the back. Also, I'm not sure. It might be there, it might not be there. You guys tell me. But I tried to define the shapes that we already have existing that I know that he liked. And then building off of that, those chains didn't really end up working. They were fighting with the belt a little bit too much for attention. I did wanted to add a good amount of details here. I wanted the character design to feel complex, but I also didn't want all the details to fight each other. Also, throughout this Speedpaint, you're going to see that the screen kind of pauses and then comes back, and I write down feedback time because that happened quite a few times, that we went through some feedback, trying to get the general shapes down, and then adding the colors to that. I hate shoes. Why the fuck do people use shoes? There's a reason my character has hooves, but, you know, regardless, I tried to make the outfit kind of work in the best way that it could. Since it's a VTuber outfit and the models tend to be quite complex, I tried to make it so at least a good chunk of the details did have a functionality, but a lot of these are just to look pretty, not gonna lie. Nothing too new for the VTubers in the VTuber zine. Here you see me collecting a couple more references because I wanted to play with the jacket a little bit. Not the jacket. I wanted to play with the shirt a little bit more and playing with what I could do in terms of color, trying to make it not just a white shirt and adding a little bit more dynamics here and there with it. I think I ended up with 3 to 4. Yeah, I think we had 4 different tests, and then I sent it to Moxie, and he was able to tell me, oh, actually, I like this one, but let's make some changes here and there. You're gonna see that a lot of things that stay consistent later change. That's just a normal part of the character process. Here you see me using a lot of different children of Kama, the VTuber artist that is going to be doing the model. And I wanted to make it so basically the styles would translate as easiest as possible. I wanted to make it easy for the model artist to be able to translate this character design into the style, so the final product wouldn't look as different as this reference sheet. So I tried to balance a little bit of the eye proportions specifically. Here you see me finally turning the character around and making things actually work the way that they're supposed to in the back. You're going to notice that I did not mirror this image. That happens later on. This is simply because it makes the process easier for me to understand where things are supposed to be and then actually mirror as it would if it was an actual, 3D character reference. And that's a lot of what I'm trying to achieve here. Basically, I'm trying to make it so it's going to be an easy transition from 2D to 3D if this character ever gets a 3D model. And also make it easy on the front-facing side of things. I want to make it easier for the modeler that's going to be working with us. Then here you see me, I'm working with some graffiti ideas because I wanted to make the jackets. I want to give the jacket back something more to just pop out and not just make it this lame dark color that didn't really have much to add. Here you see me that I'm adding a lot of lines because I'm about to make the side profile, and I want to make sure that the proportions stay consistent regardless of what angle you're looking at it. So I'm basically making some rough sketches and then dragging some of the things that I drew over to the face that is already done, and then adjusting as I go. Here with the hair, this is a technique that I use a lot personally when I'm working on character design or just illustrations in general, is that I like to break down the hair into shapes instead of moving to line art, simply because it helps me visualize better how the hair is actually supposed to interact with itself, or the ears, or just the oval that is the human head, or humanoid-esque. Here I am trying to adjust the shapes that I've already made so they do fit those proportions, and adding some small details here and there. This is an outfit that I couldn't really find many references that looked similar to it, so here I'm just kind of making some shit on the spot, trying to make it so it does translate decently to a side profile. It is not perfect in the slightest, there's a lot of mistakes, but at least to get the general idea, and then the 3D modeler can fix any little imperfections that I might have done because my 3D understanding of the design wasn't the best. I try to make it so the belt that you can see on screen right now, I'm just adding color to the side view, but I do want to mention the belt. I did have a little bit of trouble trying to figure out how I wanted to make that really work, because I knew that I wanted the belt to be kind of a duo belt, so a little bit, one is more horizontal and a little bit more diagonal. I wanted to give it a little bit of dynamicism to it. I didn't just want it to be a belt, I wanted some spice to it as well. Here I'm adding the line art on the hair and trying to make sure that the pieces interact with each other in a way that makes sense. Slowly adding the colors in and make sure that all the corresponding parts are actually colored in, because sometimes you forget what parts are which, specifically in hairs like this, that you have different patches of color that are different colors. They don't really are not the exact same as the others, but have a similar shape, yada yada yada. Here you have me slowly structuring the general shapes with very strong colors, just so it's easier for me to see and then add more into it, because there's a lot of dark colors in this jacket, so it's a little bit hard to understand the shapes if you are just to work with the colors themselves. So sometimes you need to be a little bit more exaggerative in the colors that you're choosing to use. That's kind of the final product that we ended up with the sketch. The final product looks different, but, you know, close enough. There you go. Hope you enjoy my character design process.